Right, I finished week 2 of Blitz DG's 30-day one-legged 20, his first video about doing standstill backhand throws. So I'm gonna try to make this concise, and not too long-winded. First, let me tell you how I did the drills. So as I was, watching videos, and getting feedback and my limited knowledge of the backhand throw and watching his video over and over and over again and what to look for, I noticed that the first week I was pulling way more with my arms and not coiling around my core. And so I was like, oh man, so I really have to pay attention to that. So 2 things had to happen, in my opinion, or at least this week. One was I had to coil the proper way. And then the second thing is that almost no arm strength coming through. Now, I'm a big guy and I'm going to want to do that. But the thing is that it has nothing to do with arm strength. It has everything to do with, twisting that coil up, as much as your body can do it and let the coil do the majority of the work. The arms should be guiding, at least the way I understand it, should be guiding the disc down the right path, making sure that you create that nice, protracted, deep in the pocket, flight, pull through path, and the elbows lagging a little bit behind the hips. Now, here's the good news. As I was doing one-legged drills, for the first time, I felt the coil going completely the way it was supposed to. And when I had the mental cue to start the hips, as that's what I would say, start the hips, and then that started everything the right way. And then I could feel like my shoulders kind of coming to that squareness and then my arm whipping through. And it was the first time that I've ever thrown a disc where I heard that snap, from the finger, and the disc went dead ass straight. And, it was the first time I've seen a disc do what it's supposed to do. And I threw it about 205, and that was with a putter. So I was like, holy smokes, right? Now, I haven't been able to consistently get it back. So the drills I did were the one-legged Blitz DG drill, which you're gonna see, after I stop talking, how I did it. I really focused on the protraction of the shoulder. I noticed that the disc for me travels a little bit better when I'm reaching back to turn the disc a little bit down, so that way my elbow stays on the right plane. I may not do it enough, as much, but I think that works for me so far. I'm sure I'll modify it as it goes. And then I have the mental cue of slow pull to the armpit. That's my mental cue whenever I'm doing the one-legged drill. So I say, start the hips, slow pull to the armpit. And what I have noticed is that when I do it, the coil unwraps the way it's supposed to. And I can tell because the second week, my arm and my elbow were not sore at all. 25 years ago, I broke my elbow. It's probably the worst injury I've ever suffered. After all the years I played rugby and, 21 years in combat arms in the military and jumping out of airplanes and all kinds of crazy shit that I've done. That was the worst injury I've ever had. And so after the first week, my elbow where I had broke it was sore. This week, my lats, glutes, and core were feeling it way more. So I felt like that I was engaging my body the proper way. So most of the week that I'm practicing indoors, I went outdoors on Friday, day 5 or day 6 or whatever it is. and I started throwing. And what I do is I only throw mids and putters. But when I'm doing the one-legged drills, I always start with putters, and I do at least 20 throws with just putters. And if the majority of the putters are in the same, because I have the exact same putter. So I'm throwing a Pixel, you know, because that's the putter. I have 10 of them that I'm practicing my putting with, but I have 10 of the same discs, so I know that it's going to be consistently, you know, so if that grouping is nice and good, then I know, you know, that at least I'm consistent. I might be consistently wrong, but at least I'm getting, you know, consistently in the same spot, right? And I can adjust from there. And then once I get those consistencies, I'll pick up, you know, the mids and those types of things just to feel different discs. I make sure that I always do Whirly Birds, at least 2 or 3 Whirly Birds before I do a one-legged thing. That's helped with my relaxing of the arms. I always emphasize that protraction of the shoulder and twisting the core, not moving my hips so far back, but letting my core twist around. So yeah, all that's going great. What I had noticed is that I was shrugging my shoulder, you know, from time to time. The Whirly Birds are really good at fixing that, in my opinion. I'm feeling the coil, but I did this week 100% feel the snap, and that was awesome. I didn't consistently do it all the time, but now that I know what it feels like, start with the hips, pull to the armpit, slow pull to the armpit. And that's been working for me. Other mental cues may not. Next week, I'm going to add a couple of things, I think. I'm going to do, I think, even more Whirly Birds. But what I'm going to do is a wall drill that, you know, I guide the wall, you know, my arm back on the right plane. And that way, when I'm coming through, it's gonna do better. And we'll see how that goes. It's not something that Blitz talks about, but it makes sense to me, or at least it may help me, because at least it gives me, on the days that I'm having to exercise temperance and I'm not as super motivated. There was a day that I was not super motivated, but I still went in and did it because, you know, that's what Stoics do. Long experience is what's going to come through. So I don't really have a lot to talk about the philosophy end of it, because this is just the long experience part. You have to feel the frustration as you're climbing. You have to kind of, you know, feel the burn, so to speak, and you have to keep pushing through, because experience is what's going to refine it over time. And I know that this is going to be one of those things that it's probably going to take me, you know, a long time to refine all of this, and which is fine. And that's one of the reasons why disc golf appeals to me, and why I think it's a great thing for my veterans. So yeah, I'm going to keep at it, and we'll see how week 3 goes. So I'm almost done with week 2 of Blitz's DG
30-day challenge, one arm. I do at least 50 or 60 putts a day. I'm trying to figure that out along with it, because you drive for show, putt for dough, right? I assume that's the same thing in disc golf. So here I'm starting to feel more torque. I really emphasize pulling in my really weak core, because I'm 58. But really get that shoulder rotation against the back leg, or shoulder rotation against, you know, the front leg, and starting to initiate the twist from the lower and trying not to like round or shrug, which some videos I'm a little bit rounding, and some, and what I guess one of the mental cues that I'm using now is pull down the line or pull into the armpit. When I visualize pulling down a line from where I reach back, it seems to really help a lot of problems. But, and especially if I feel the coil around, you know, like now my arm's not getting sore on week 2. Now I can feel my lats and my glutes. That's where I'm, you know, feeling it after, you know, after my really like going at it 60 or 70% days. But so far it's going good. I play rounds on Fridays with the vets. I've been super consistent every week. I do at least 50 putts a day, and I'm doing my one-legged blitz DG drills. So there you go, week 2.